My entitled sister wants to use the wedding venue I have waited 3 years for. My sister is now brigading against me on Facebook, making constant passive-aggressive remarks, and claiming I have made her depressed. I have received many messages from her friends saying that I am beach for treating her that way. I blocked every attempt at online harassment and my sister as well. But 2 days ago my sister's best friends egged my car. I called the police and my neighbor, whose hobby is to look outside the window and spy on people, identified them too. She is a grumpy lady but actually very lovely once you get to meet her. After not talking to my parents in several days they called and asked if we could talk things out. I was wary but agreed to meeting them with my fiancé in our apartment. When they arrived you could tell my mom had been crying. And I honestly felt bad for 10 whole minutes. Turns out my sister is just an a-hole. No medical history. No diagnosis, nothing. We started chit-chatting awkwardly, then we began talking about the matter. My father first asked us why we canceled the caterers, to which my fiancé responded that we didn't want to have anything they could hold over our heads. Dad acted offended and said he would never do that, to which I said better safe than sorry. My mother continued with calling me disrespectful for talking in that manner to them. I called the disrespectful for all what they had said and done over the last few days. We got in a heated argument about the venue again, to which my father repeated the "it doesn't matter where you get married but the person you are marrying" bullcrap. And finally I gave him the comeback, "Yes Dad, exactly. But isn't it weird how that only applies to me and not my sister? As long as she is marrying brother-in-law it doesn't matter where, right?" It was dead quiet and my father was red like a tomato and gasping for air like a fish on land. My mother was quietly crying again and so I said, "Well, I'm waiting for your reasoning." My father slapped his hands on the table and went on a rant about family and sacrifices and how a loving family should do what's in their power to make each other happy. I just responded, "Like how you tried to make me happy on my graduation day? You know about the time my sister smashed my cake because she wasn't in the limelight?" Quiet again. My mother quietly said, "Why do you hate us so much?" I looked at her and said, "I could ask you guys the same thing." Again nothing. My parents knew that they had effed up but they were not ready to admit it. My mother tried to guilt trip me saying that my sister is miserable, that she hasn't gone out in days because people judge her so much. My father went on a tangent on how my little sister just needs more time and attention because she is the youngest. So basically excusing her behavior. I told them that I felt hurt because I now saw their blatant favoritism. That they didn't even try to conceal the fact that they loved my sister more. My mother tried to say that's not true. "We love you all the same." I wasn't having it. I opened a list I had written on my phone where I had written every point I could remember about them putting my sister before me. It was a very long list. Some had dates to it, some were more specific situations. When I was finished my parents were horrified, betrayed and near tears. They wanted to start explaining again how I was wrong but I said that this conversation was leading nowhere. They either set family counseling up for us and apologize to me or they won't be invited to the wedding. They left and haven't called since.